Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to part 17 of where I show all my vinyl albums. Now we're currently in the miscellaneous section and I think there are probably about 3, maybe 4 more in that section, and then I'll be going on to the female artists stroke female bands. Now this one is actually going to be quite long because there are a few heavy hitters in this, so we'll get started straight away. And we're on SM at the moment, and the Smiths, the debut album with the brilliant What Difference Does It Make and Still Ill, and the other single was Hand in Glove, although this is not the single version, it's like a remix and it is better. And second is Hatful of Hollow, released in 1984, and this is essentially a compilation of A-sides and B-sides and some radio sessions, and it's really good. 16 tracks off this. The second album proper is Meat is Murder, and the only single off this was That Joke Isn't Funny Anymore, although for me Nowhere Fast should have been a single, or Barbarism Begins at Home. The fantastic Queen is Dead, which is one of the best albums of the 80s, and this has got Big Mouth Strikes Again, The Boy with a Thorn in the Side, There's the Light Never Goes Out, and the fantastic title track. The World Won't Listen, another compilation of basically A-sides and B-sides, and some B-sides that were on 12-inch singles got on this as well. One new song was actually You Just Haven't Heard It Yet Baby, which Kirsty MacColl covered. I actually prefer the Smiths version. Their last album, Strange Ways, Here We Come, it's okay, but it's a bit of a disappointment. It does have Girlfriend on a Coma, which is the best track on it, and A Rush and a Push on The Land That We Live In Is Ours. Rank, which was a live album, and it's okay, but you know, I only ever played it about 4 or 5 times. It's not bad. We're going to Morrissey and Viva Hate. I got this 1988. It's a good album. It's got Suede Head and Every Day Is Like Sunday, but the one I really liked off it was I Don't Mind If You Forget Me. It's the most Smiths-like of the lot. Kill Uncle, which I think is a very good album. Co-written with Mark Nevin of Fairground Attraction. 2 singles are Frank and The Fantastic Sing Your Life. It's a very mellow album and it's a very short album, but it's one of my favourites. It gets slammed quite a bit though. Vauxhall and I, which is possibly his best album, and this is the one with Hold On To Your Friends and The More You Ignore Me, The Closer I Get, and the fantastic Now My Heart Is Full. Years of Refusal, which is a pretty good album from about 2010. Something Is Squeezing My Skull, I'm Throwing My Arms Around Paris, All You Need Is Me, and the fantastic That's How People Grow Up. It's a pretty good album. This one here I got a couple of years ago, and it's World Peace Is None of Your Business. This is a double album and it is pretty good, with the title track is very good, The Bullfighter Dies, Istanbul, Staircase at the University. It takes a bit of getting used to, this album, but most of Morrissey's later ones do as well. Like this one, Low in High School, which again is okay, but by this time I'm sort of just buying Morrissey because he was one of my favourite artists out of loyalty really. But this has My Love I'd Do Anything For You, which was a single. Spent the Day in Bed was a good single. And there's a couple other ones here. Jackie's Only Happy When She's Up on the Stage. Again, decent album. This one here is not so decent. It's a cover versions album, California Sun. Although I do like his version of It's Over by Roy Orbison, and he does do the Melanie song, Some Say I Got Devil. It's not a great album. This one here is I Am Not a Dog on a Chain, which I think is actually pretty good. It's a slightly different sound for him. Jim Falls, Love Is On Its Way Out, I Am Not a Dog on a Chain. It's one of his better later ones. Then we go on to Soft Cell, Non-Stop, Erotic Cabaret. 3 brilliant singles, but the rest of it I actually struggle with. I don't think it's that great an album. Non-Stop, Ecstatic Dancing, which has Torch on it, Memorabilia, Where Did Our Love Go, What. Again, this is almost like a mini album, a sort of reduced price one. to accompany the Erotic Cabaret album. It's okay, again, it's not fantastic. This one I actually do quite like, is The Art of Falling Apart, and this is the one with the 12-inch single where he does a Jimi Hendrix, or they do, sorry, a Jimi Hendrix medley, and this is the one with numbers on it. Again, it's very seedy, but it's my favourite of those three. And this one here, which was the last one before they split up, although they have got back together, which is This Last Night in Sodom, and it's got Down in the Subway on it, which is okay, and Soul Inside, which was a decent enough single, but the album itself, it's not brilliant. Soft Cell, the single, is possibly the only album you need. This is absolutely fantastic. It's got all the singles from Memorabilia up to Down in the Subway. Okay, Jimmy Somerville, which is a compilation of Bronski Beat, Solo, and The Communards. Small Town Boy, Don't Leave Me This Way, Ain't Necessarily So, To Love Somebody, You're My World. Again, it's not a bad album. I'm not a huge Jimmy Somerville fan, I wouldn't go any further than that. This is the hits of Sonny and Cher, which is okay, but I think some of these songs are live versions, which is a shame, but still not a bad album. Spandau Ballet and Journeys to Glory, and this is their debut album with To Cut a Long Story Short, Muscle Bound and The Freeze, and this is possibly their best album. It's their more new romantic type album. Their second album, which is not bad either, is Diamond, and the singles off this is Chant Number 1, which is okay, but they do Paint Me Down, which is almost a carbon copy of Chant Number 1. Instinction was quite a big hit, and She Loved Like Diamonds, probably my favourite song of it. The big one, True, with Lifeline, Communication, True and Gold, is quite smooth, it's decent, and they tried to replicate it with this one, Parade, and the singles are good off this, Only When You Leave, Highly Strung, I'll Fly For You, Round and Round, but the other four songs are not very good at all. And it could be argued that this is all you need by Spandau Ballet, the hits collection, which is really good. All the singles up to that period in time. Next up, the best of the specials. It's the only specials album I have. It's a double album with Gangsters, A Message to You, Rudy, Nightclub, Too Much Too Young Live, Do Nothing, love that track, Stereotypes, International Jet Set. The only thing wrong with this, it doesn't have the song You're Wondering Why on it, or You're Wondering Now. It's from their debut album anyway, which I love, but still very, very good album. Okay, Phil Spector, Echoes of the 60s, which is basically greatest hits of the stuff he produced. River Deep, Mountain High, Then He Kissed Me, Be My Baby, Why Do Lovers Break Each Other's Hearts, To Do, Run Run, etc. It's a good album. This one here is very similar. Greatest hits, same sort of tracks. And then the Christmas album, which this was, I think you bought one, you got the other one free, something like that there. But this is basically the Christmas album, which was released in the 60s, repackaged, and it's excellent. Split Ends and True Colours. Yeah, I'm trying to like this album. I love the single, I Got You, but the rest of it, I just can't get into it at all. Bruce Springsteen, quite a few of his, Greetings from Ashbury Park, New Jersey, with Blinded by the Light on it, and the two songs that David Bowie actually covered are Growing Up and It's Hard to Be a Saint in the City. Decent album from '73. Another decent album is The Wild, the Innocent and the E Street Shuffle with Rosalita, which is the best track off this. These Bruce Springsteen albums I got really, really cheap, and there's always about 2 or 3 I love off it, but I never liked the whole album, and it's the same with this one, Born to Run. And like Thunder Road's very good, as is Born to Run, and there's another one as well, I think it's Backstreets, that I really like, but the whole album I just can't listen to too much Bruce Springsteen in one go. Darkness in the Edge of Town is a very good album as well, with Badlands is good, Candy's Room is absolutely brilliant, the title track. The River, possibly one of my favourites, with Sherry Darling on it, Out in the Street, Cadillac Ranch, the title track Independence Day, which is similar to the title track, but I prefer Independence Day. Ramrod, good double album. Nebraska, which is okay, it's the acoustic album. And Atlantic City, Johnny 99, which Johnny Cash did. Open All Night, again, some of the songs are very good and other ones I just can't be bothered with. Born in the USA, very very good album. This is the one that was massive. I'm on Fire, Dancing in the Dark, Cover Me, Glory Days, No Surrender. I always like working on the highways, like a wee rockabilly type thing, but again, very good album. This one's a bit patchy, but the songs I love off this, I really love Tunnel of Love, and that's the title track. And my all-time favourite Bruce Springsteen song is on this, and it is Tougher Than the Rest. And you also get the brilliant Disguise. Bruce Springsteen Greatest Hits, a very very good double album. Of course there's tracks on this I would like to have seen on this, but and other ones not so much, but still very very good. And the only later Bruce Springsteen album I do like is Devils and Dust, and I think the title track of it is absolutely brilliant. And there's one song, Long Time Coming, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Squeeze, their debut album with Take Me I'm Yours and Bang Bang. It's also got Out of Control on it and the brilliant Model. Squeeze again, and Cool for Cats, very good, with Slap and Tickle, Goodbye Girl, and the two huge hit singles Cool for Cats and Up the Junction. Slightly Drunk is one of the best tracks off this. Squeeze again, and this is like a 10-inch of some of the tracks off Cool for Cats, and I bought this recently. It's okay. The tracks themselves, I can read Goodbye Girl, Cool for Cats, Up the Junction, Slap and Tickle, Bang Bang, and Take Me I'm Yours is basically the singles. My favourite Squeeze album, the brilliant Argy Bargy, with Another Nail in My Heart, Pulling Muscles from the Shell, Separate Beds, Vicky Verky, they're at the top. Fantastic album. East Side Story, another really good album with Labelled with Love, Tempted, Is That Love, as well as Mumbo Jumbo, Woman's World, fantastic, Heaven, Someone Else's Heart, great album. Slightly disappointing with Sweets from a Stranger from 1982, but it does have Black Coffee in Bed. This album has really grown on me though. The other single was When the Hangover Strikes, which was the worst choice of a single ever, but it does have good songs like Out of Touch, which is weird but really good, and His House or Home, probably one of the best. Chris Difford vocals. Squeeze singles 45s and Under, their biggest selling album, and it is fantastic. It's just all the singles, without Bang Bang of course. Difford and Tilbrook, and this is from 1984, and this is okay. It's got Action Speaks Louder, Hope Fell Down, Wagon Train. It's not a bad album. A lot of Squeeze, by the way. Cozy Fan Tutti Frutti with Last Time Forever, Heartbreaking World, another Jules Holland, which is pretty good, and the fantastic No Place Like Home. Squeeze Babylon and On with the hit single Hourglass. Also has Trust Me to Open My Mouth and fantastic Striking Matches, another Chris Difford one. Frank, their most underrated album with If It's Love, and Love Circles, Melody, Hotel or Motel, and Dr. Jazz, one of Jules Holland's best. Around and About, live album, pretty good, better on CD, more tracks on it. Play, this is a good album, although there's no Chris Difford lead vocals. It does have The Terrible Sunday Street, which I've never liked, but the highlights are Walk Straight Line and the other acoustic one, which is The Truth. Very good album. Some Fantastic Place, which is their best later album. It's from 1994. It has got Third Rail on it, the title track, It's Over, Loving You Tonight, and Images of Love. True Colours is a song written by, is it Keith Wilkinson, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. It's one of the best songs off it. And and then their first album back after many years disbanded, and it's Cradle to the Grave, and it's not a brilliant album at all. The best track for me by far is Top of the Form. Slightly better but not much better is The Knowledge. I think this is around 2017, and I do like the track Albatross, although it does steal from Tyrannosaurus Rex's Deborah. Okay, and an embarrassing one. A Star Sound one, Stars on 45, the medley. This is the one with Stevie Wonder and the Rolling Stones. I bought it for the Rolling Stones, 99p out of Woolworths. I still remember buying it, taking it home to see how bad it was, and it was bad. Now the rest of these are all Status Quo, and there's quite a few of them. So we'll start off with Golden Hour of Status Quo, which is a compilation of their Pie material. And we have The Best of Status Quo, another compilation of their Pie material. They have their debut album, Picturesque Matchstickable Messages from the Status Quo, and this is very psychedelic, but it's really good. It's got the two hit singles, Pictures of Matchstick Men and Ice in the Sun, but it also features a Green Tambourine and a cover of the Bee Gees' Spicks and Specks. I do like it. The rest of Status Quo, this was a record store day from a few years ago, and this I'm not that keen on. It's like B-sides and outtakes from the Pie stuff, and some of these are not great, and it's a bit of a bad buy because this was originally a very cheap budget album, and you can get it cheap online everywhere, but I went and bought the full price record store day one, which is a bit of buyer's regret there. Their second album is Spare Parts. I think this is a very good album. The single was Are You Growing Tired of My Love. My favourite track is Antique Angelica. Poor Old Man's another very good one. Similar to the first album, but I think it's slightly better. Mac Kelly's Greasy Spoon, their third album, and we're still in Pie, and this is the album that sort of shows the way that they were going with the boogie sound, the 12-bar blues, and Junior's Wailing is probably the most famous track off this, even though they didn't write it. Dog of Two Heads, their last for Pie, and this featured the hit single Mean Girl, which was released after they had left Pie and went on to Vertigo. And Gert and Ola is on this as well. It's a very good album. Okay, we'll get into some of the classics now. Piledriver, very good album with Mean Girl on it, and there's still a little bits of psych in that album as well. Hello with Caroline, Roll Over Lay Down, Claudia, Blue Eyed Lady, excellent album. The fans' favourite Quo, and I think this is very good as well. It's got Fine 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 on it, which is the catchiest song off this. The single is Break the Rules, but the best track is Slow Train, brilliant track. On the Level, and this is the one with Down Down on it. Most of the time is good, but the two I really love are What to Do and I Saw the Light, very good album. Blue for You, and this is one of the two hit singles, Rain and Mystery Song, but my favourite track is Ring of Change, which is actually the B-side of Rockin' All Over the World. Status Quo Live, and this is just a really good double live album, and it was released in 1976 or 7. Rockin' All Over the World with the title track Can't Give You More, it's fantastic. Dirty Water is such a sing-along song. I do really like this album. A lot of people think it's badly produced by Pip Williams, but I have no problem with it at all. If you can't stand the heat, don't like the cover of it. It's got Again and Again, and I'm Giving Up My Worrying, it's great. And the second single was Accident Prone. It's a decent album. Whatever You Want, love the cover of that with the title track, and the other single was Living on an Island. But I adore the song Shady Lady. I think it's a brilliant track. I would be more Francis Rossi than Rick Parfitt. 12 Gold Bars, brilliant album. All singles from Paper Plane up to Living on an Island. Just Supposing with two of my all-time favourite Quo songs, What You're Proposing and Lies. But this also has Don't Run to Mummy on it, which is a great track. recorded at the same time but released a year later, was Never Too Late, and this is a very good album as well. The hit single was Something About You Baby I Like, but the title track is really good. A really brilliant version of Chuck Berry's Carol. My favourite track off this is Don't Stop Me Now. 1982, or 1 + 9 + 8 + 2, and Dear John was the big hit off this, and She Don't Fool Me, the second single, didn't do that well, but it's the best track on it. And then we have Status Quo 12 Gold Bars, Volume 1 and 2. So basically you bought Volume 2 and you got Volume 1 free. So again, it's just all the hit singles. Back to back, and this is the one with A Mess of Blues on it, the Elvis cover, as well as Going Downtown Tonight, and the two bigger hit singles are Old Rag Blues and Margarita Time. Again, it's okay. We're getting really poppy now with Quo. Now this is them reformed within the army now, with basically a new lineup. It's Rick and Francis still there, but new bass player and drummer. And this has got Rolling Home on it, the title track, and Dreamin', Red Sky. Again, not their best. Not their best also is Ain't Complaining, and this has got a brilliant title track, I love it. But this is very pop. I do like the song Cream of the Crop though. I just think it's so catchy. Perfect Remedy, regarded as the worst, but I do like this. This is very Francis Rossi influenced, and there is quite a bit of sort of country style on it. My favourite track off this is one called Address Book, which is like Margarita Time Part 2, but the singles were Little Dreamer and Not At All. It's a good album actually, it's quite high up in my pull list. Rock Till You Drop, not a brilliant album, although it does have a new version of Can't Give You More, which is great. Like a Zombie is a pretty good song as well, but it's very reminiscent of the track Ring of Change. One of their best is Under the Influence. I absolutely love this album. Making Waves is brilliant, as is Blessed Are the Meek. 20 Wild Horses. Under the Influence itself, Little White Lies, really good album from, I think it was 1999. And a couple more left. And we have In Search of the Fourth Chord from the mid-2000s, I think it's 2007. Decent album. Beginning of the End is probably the biggest one off this, but yeah, good album. And the last one is, I think their last album so far is Backbone from, I think, 2019, yeah, and this is without Rick, and again this is actually a pretty good album. So that's my SM to ST, and I'll be carrying on in the next video, and I hope to have that quite soon. So that's me for now. All the best now. Bye bye.